clothes for comfort here. We examine Denver's police chase policy after a cruiser flipped in a neighborhood.
Plus, a former cop will spend years in prison for his role in a Loveland arrest that shocked people around the country.
And could we have magic in the Mile High City? The role one of the biggest names in basketball could play in the next chapter for the Broncos. A lot of big names that could be entering this bidding war that could reach upwards of $4+ billion.
Wow.
And will we get a new stadium? Yeah.
I would hope if they have that much to spend on the team.
Well, we got a burned one right now.
Yeah.
So
right.
we need some repairs.
Big names, but the wallets are bigger.
Yeah,
that's right.
true.
Yeah, for
Fat
sure.
cash there. We've got what's going to be a nice day. Take a look from satellite and radar. You can see lots of clear skies statewide. We're going to get a little cloud cover coming in today, so we'll be under a partly sunny sky. Right now, though, temperatures are in the 50s. Now 60s, 50s and 60s. Denver now already at 62 degrees. Keep in mind, we're typically mid to upper 60s here in the first couple of weeks of May. So already close to our normal high for the day, and it's just now 8:01. Winds are going to be pretty calm today. We'll see speeds at around 10 to near 15 miles per hour. You might get a gust up to about 20, 25 miles per hour, but overall, just a light breeze. 50s and 60s now, low 70s by about 12 o'clock. Coming up, we're going to take a look at just how much warmer it gets here over the next couple of days. There is a slight chance we'll see a storm or two on the eastern plains. Details on when that could happen, Jason, coming up.
Finally starting to look a little better on the south side of town. I've been following this late road work as they were doing the northbound side of I-25. We're actually going to see a lot more gap road work here over the spring and summer as they're going to be doing the final paving. And they did some of that work overnight. Take a look from the camera over there. And it's hard to see a little bit, but they were working on a bridge over here on the northbound side right by Upper Lake Gulch. And it's really rough in there. You actually go bounced up and then come down just because of the way the raised asphalt is in there. The northbound side, all lanes are appearing to be open now at this point as they had lanes closed for some time. Now the drive times are getting better. It's still going to be a couple extra minutes as that traffic continues to work its way north. The rest of the Denver Tech Center Drive, that's okay. 225 is busy. Still closed down here at Havana and Dartmouth for a serious crash. A lot of these folks are trying to use ILIF, and that's all backed up with the construction in there, unfortunately. So Parker Road to 225 might be a better option for you. And still busy in some of the other north and east and west side freeways.
The former Loveland police officer who was involved in that violent arrest of a 73-year-old woman with dementia was sentenced to 5 years in prison. Austin Hopp pleaded guilty to 1 count of felony assault. In addition to prison time, he'll serve 3 years parole and is not allowed to work as a police officer. Hopp and Officer Daria Jalali stopped Garner in 2020 after she walked out of a Walmart without paying for $13 worth of items. A lawsuit filed after the arrest claimed the officers refused to provide Garner with medical attention. Jalali is also facing charges. She pleaded not guilty in March. Her next court date is scheduled for June. In a statement after Hopp's sentencing, interim Loveland Police Chief Eric Stewart said his department is grateful for the DA's pursuit of the case, adding, while this will not change the terrible treatment of Ms. Garner, we hope that this sentence can bring some measure of justice to her and her family.
The U.S. Senate is expected to vote next week on a bill that would make abortion legal across the country, but it likely won't pass. That vote will be mostly symbolic since Democrats don't have the 60 votes needed to beat a filibuster in the Senate. The bill comes after a draft opinion was leaked to Politico indicating the U.S. Supreme Court would overturn abortion rights set forth by Roe v. Wade. A new proposal in Weld County might challenge Colorado's abortion law, the Reproductive Health Equity Act. Weld County Commissioner Lori Sain introduced a resolution that would establish the county as the state's first human life sanctuary. Colorado Public Radio reports her measure challenges how the law bans local governments from using zoning or building codes to restrict abortion providers. Discussion of the resolution was punted to a future meeting, though. A Denver-based data broker says it will stop selling information on visits to abortion clinics, including Planned Parenthood facilities. The data gathered by SafeGraph showed where people traveled to a clinic based on their census block. The announcement comes after a report from Vice about how easy it is to access that information. Colorado abortion providers do expect more people to travel to our state for abortions if Roe is overturned.
All new this morning, we're hearing from Barry Morphew and his daughters for the first time since he was charged with murdering his wife, Suzanne. Those charges were just dropped. Now, in an exclusive interview, Morphew tells Amy Robach of GMA they'll request an investigation into how they say prosecutors mishandled the case.
We've been silent for a long time, and we've decided that we finally want to break the silence.
This morning, just days before the second anniversary of her disappearance, the family of Suzanne Morphew is speaking out for the first time since the murder charges against her husband were dropped.
It's been an emotional roller coaster, but we feel like we can finally take our first steps in healing, which is a blessing. And yeah, we just know our dad better than anyone else. And we know he was not involved in our mom's disappearance.
Mallory and Macy Morphew, standing by their father, who investigators believed was responsible for their mother's disappearance 2 years ago. The three, seen walking out of court arm in arm just moments after the charges against him were dropped.
We want to heal. We feel like we haven't been able to heal these past 2 years.
The family says Suzanne left her Colorado home for a bike ride, but never returned.
I just love my girls. And I love my wife, and I just want her to be found.
But investigators told a different story, arresting Barry Morphew, the charges ranging from first-degree murder to tampering with physical evidence. Prosecutors argued that Morphew discovered his wife was having an affair, then murdered her, disposed of her body, and staged a bike crash in a rural area. Releasing this body camera footage from the hours after she was reported missing, police saying Morphew touched evidence.
Hey, could you not touch the bike with your hands, please?
Morphew's daughters say he isn't a killer and are celebrating the dismissal of the case, now demanding District Attorney Linda Stanley should do more.
I just hope that Linda will step up to the plate and do everything she can to find our mom, because what they've done is not fair. And we're never going to stop looking for our mom.
Court filings say that while authorities are close to discovering Suzanne's body, weather has complicated the efforts. The location where Suzanne's body is believed to be has 5 feet of snow concealing it. But the family's attorney says authorities have mishandled the case and are planning to file a complaint against the DA.
And if you want to honor Suzanne and you want to honor the daughters, go find Suzanne.
The DA's office telling ABC News they and law enforcement have been diligently searching for Suzanne Morphew since she was reported missing, and that they are continuing to do so.
Prosecutors need to be held responsible, and they need to pay for the damage they've caused to Barry, which is frankly nearly irreparable, because it's hard for anybody to believe that Barry is not who they claim he was.
The charges against Morphew were dismissed without prejudice, which means if investigators find new evidence, he could be charged again. A Denver police SUV flipped upside down, and 2 officers are in the hospital after they chased a suspect through a neighborhood.
Yeah, it happened right in front of homes here. Denver 7's Veronica Acosta reports that there are some questions about the pursuit practices.
Nothing forbids officers from engaging in pursuits in neighborhoods, but DPD's policy says they first should consider the nature of the area before they go ahead and engage in one. Neighbors in this area say they have to think fast in order to stay safe.
They were going at least 100 miles an hour, at least. We just took our kids inside and made them stay inside.
It was pretty fast, but it all happened and right when they came over those dips, you could hear all the cars hit the bump, so they were going fast because you could hear that when they bottomed out. But then in that 100-foot stretch there between that and the alleyway, everything just came to kind of a weird slow motion halt.
The chase that landed this police cruiser upside down started because of a shooting that was just after about 5:30 in the afternoon yesterday in this area. Police say the 2 officers investigating that shooting, they saw the suspect's car and they started chasing it, but as they tried to stop the car, the cruiser somehow rolled over in this area. The 2 officers involved in the rollover, they're expected to be okay. And police were able to take that suspect into custody as well. We're in Denver this morning. I'm Veronica Acosta, Denver 7.
We're following breaking news, a sell-off on Wall Street. What's spooking investors this morning?
Yeah, a lot of red yesterday and again today. And we are hearing from local artists behind this tribute piece for those fleeing the war in Ukraine.